Clap, clap, snap, snap. There we go. Perfect. Synced up audio. Good. Alright, so Quintessential Quintuplets. A rom-com, originally airing in 2019, adapted from a manga. Personally, one of my favorite rom-com animes that I've watched so far. I originally watched it while the second season was airing, binge watched the entire first season, actually caught up to the second season while it was airing, and I really enjoyed it. It's something very different in the fact that for a rom-com, there isn't a predictable outcome. There's no predictable winner. You got shows like Nisekoi and My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu or How to Raise a Boring Girlfriend, and you can just look at all these and be like, okay, I know who wins. It's obvious, And so a show like this, and there's another show that comes to mind, God, what's it called? It's the winner is the childhood friend or some stupid shit like that. But the catch is all three love interests are the childhood friend. And I'm watching this and I was like, I don't fucking know who wins. Because that takes out all of the mystery. It removes that childhood friend stereotype. Because the childhood friend never wins. That's just kind of one of those things in anime. And I think that Quintessential Quintuplets, it achieves this kind of mystery because it removes those stereotypes. There's no childhood friend. There's no main initial love interest. There's no I don't know. There's other things. I can't think of other things right now. But it's one of those. It removes that mystery by removing those stereotypes, and I think it does a really good job of it. All of the sisters are their own characters, and none of them really follow a stereotype in any way when it comes to main rom-com stuff. You may be watching this video and thinking maybe this is kind of an irrelevant show. It's not. For me, I reside in the U.S. I don't speak Japanese, so the Ian version of the movie comes out December 2nd, and I wanted to make a video and talk about some things. So, Ichika, personally, initially one of my favorites. She and Futaro have a really good chemistry. They talk really well. They have a really good time. And it utterly broke my heart when she impersonated Miku, and that whole thing in Kyoto happened, and it was one of those things that kind of ruined her character for me, and made me realize honestly that I don't think she'll win personally. And she hasn't directly told Futaro her feelings. She kind of did it distracted or disguised as Miku, and yeah, I don't feel it anymore from her. She kind of ruined that part for me. Nino started out, and I think this is kind of common for a lot of people, as one of the more hated sisters because she absolutely fucking despised Futaro. She didn't want him in the house. She didn't want him with the sisters. She didn't want to get tutored by him. And then eventually, the whole Kintaro thing happens, and she likes him. It's kind of roundabout. She explains it better. Something about following, rejecting his role and not his character, some stuff like that, she says. So, and she's actually the first one, well, the second one to directly tell him her feelings. Miku, the third of the middle, the favorite of many, my personal favorite. She is the history buff. She's bad at cooking, and she wants to improve herself. She wants to prove to Futaro that she is worthy of being the one that wins, and it's admirable. She honestly, I think she also shows the most character growth, and it's incredibly obvious at the very beginning of the show. She's kind of standoffish. She doesn't really do or say a whole lot, and towards the end, she is able to open up enough to tell Futaro that she loves him, and then plays it off because that's just how it happens. Yotsuba is our little wild card as far as in terms of Futaro. They have no romantic connection. Out of all five sisters, she's the only one that doesn't show an explicit interest in trying to get alone with him or spend time with him, which is weird, and I'll get to that. But if you look into it, it's not that weird. Itsuki, the fifth, the youngest, the one that wants to be her mother, she initially was in the same boat as Nino, but was more receptive to him, and they've honestly kind of become good friends. They kind of, she's kind of the one that Futaro trusts to talk about the sisters and kind of work with, and it kind of shows that they are good friends now. They're no longer just rivals, or he's trying to just get her to study. They're friends now, and it really kind of shows that relationship growing. And she also, she does say that she likes him by telling him, the moon is beautiful. And so also Itsuki, bro, she just kind of like starts obsessing over him out of nowhere, and I don't really get it. Maybe I missed something, maybe I just kind of overlooked something, but when it comes to Kyoto, she just kind of like she just obsesses. She's just like obsessed with trying to get him alone and making him remember Kyoto. I don't know if it's for her own sake, for her own benefit, or if it's for Yotsuba's sake. But it just kind of came off as weird to me that she just kind of had these feelings for him out of nowhere. But maybe that's because it's the most natural, and it doesn't really show a lot in the manga or the anime, because it's just natural. There's no like big moment where she's like, oh, why do I like him? It's just more of a natural progression throughout the story. Okay, so Yotsuba, our girl in the photo, the girl from Kyoto that Futaro has been chasing, that has been altering himself for, the reason he studies. And I'm just gonna like throw some stuff out here. I know that it's definitely been answered for people that read the manga or speak Japanese and went and saw the movie. I think she knew the whole time. I'm gonna be honest. I get this gut feeling that she knows who Futaro was from the very beginning, and I say that because she knew his name in the manga. There's a manga where she gets picked up. She says, "Bye, Itsuki Futaro-kun," and it's just like it's one of those small details, and it makes me think, maybe she knew the whole time, which is why she was so receptive to him, and she wanted to help him. But that could also be just chalked down to her character, because that's who she is. And so another one of the things that kind of jumps out at me is she was actually the first person to admit feelings for him, even though she doesn't explicitly show those feelings in any way. In the episode / story where he's sick from eating Miku's cooking, she says that she likes him, and then plays it off. She's like, "Oh, I can lie too," but at no other points in the manga or anime does she pull off a lie. She can't even impersonate her sisters. So it's just odd to me, because I feel like she played it off as a lie, but I think she was telling the truth, and which kind of reinforces that thought that maybe she knew the whole time. Maybe not. Maybe I'm reading too much into things, but I'm gonna read super hard into this one next. Yotsuba had long hair. In the episode, and this wasn't in the manga, this was in the anime. In the episode where Futaro and Yotsuba and all the sisters go to the amusement park, when they're in the Ferris wheel, Yotsuba and Futaro, they talk about why they had to leave their old school. And it was because Yotsuba failed the makeup. She was the only one, so all the other sisters went. And it shows a flashback of all 5 sisters, and it showed that Yotsuba had long hair, which is probably just an incredibly insignificant detail. Like, if it showed up in the manga, I wouldn't really think so much about it, but since it's like an anime-only scene, it's not in the manga. I even went back and checked, because I was like, I don't remember seeing this ever, and it wasn't there. So it's one of those other things that kind of just makes me think there's more about Yotsuba than she's letting on. And I think that even though she does know that Futaro is the boy that she met in Kyoto, she doesn't want to pursue anything, because she knows that her sisters, initially it's because she didn't want to ruin that relationship and kind of maybe draw a line between her relationship with her sisters But now that everyone else is kind of going after him, maybe she just doesn't want to drive a wedge in there and get in the way. Which makes sense because that's kind of her character. She cares a lot about a lot of people. She has a hard time saying no. She likes to help. So it makes sense. So that's really all I've got on that. I think Yotsuba wins. I think she knew the whole time. I'm actually gonna read the manga as soon as I'm done recording this. I'm not even gonna edit it. I'm probably gonna chroma key my green screen, throw that bitch in Premiere, and then go read the manga. And then just some differences that I noticed between the manga. So the kiss when they were at the hot springs. They changed that. They talk about it at the very end of the season, which, I mean, I don't really mind. Kind of looking back now, it makes sense with this other change where Itsuki and Yotsuba talk about her being in the photo in Kyoto, whereas in the manga, Yotsuba stumbles across Itsuki dressed up as Rena, which I guess since knowing that it's going to be a movie adaptation and not a second season, I can understand trying not to leave on such a large cliffhanger. But at the same time, it sucks because reading that last panel really that hit me. That got me really just kind of like, holy shit. So I don't know if that scene will show up in the movie. I kind of hope it does because it was a really powerful scene. Another few things. A couple things I hope doesn't happen. I hope this whole thing wasn't orchestrated by the father. If it was, I'm shocked. Like, I'm done with it. Like, it's such a stupid, just like, get out. Like, I'd rather it be left up to kind of just like random chance. I think that's more romantic than, oh, father set this up. It's fucking stupid. And then I also kind of hope that it's not revealed that they all kind of had a moment with Futaro on that day. I kind of wish it would stay to Yotsuba and Ichika, because I think if they all have a moment with him on that day and it left like an impact on him, it kind of lessens the impact, because the reason he's like he is because he met that girl, and it's Yotsuba. And I feel like, especially since the scene where Futaro confronts Ichika as she's dressed as Miku, it kind of undermines the impact of that scene where he thinks she's lying but she's really not. And so I think if all five of the girls have a moment with him on that day, it just kind of it removes some of the impact that it has. And so those are just kind of some of my wants, some of my thoughts, you know. Hopefully I can get this uploaded before the movie premieres, because I'm going to go see that shit day one. I'll probably make another video after that. Anyways, that was my first video. Hooray. If you liked the video, subscribe. If you like the video, like the video. Leave some comments, leave some suggestions. I'm always open to suggestions to improve myself. Maybe even things to talk about. Yeah. Done. Let's go. That's it.